You know, the great thing here is Kathy went through all the fun stuff. I mean, rattling off all the rules and regulations and giving you the legislative background. So I'm going to try to do that, touch on agriculture and soil health policy. I decided to dub this past, present, and future as a way to try to do this because I was told I had to do it in 3 slides. So I figured one would be past, one would be present, one would be future. I may have gotten up to 5 slides, but I'm a little over. But I do have the podium, so I want to say thank you to Dr. Schaefer and to Dr. Honeycutt and the rest of the team at the Soil Health Institute for having the inspiration to cause this convening. I've got the pleasure of serving on the Soil Health Institute board, and we created this several years ago because we saw a tremendous soil health movement occurring across the country that we needed to play catch up with. And we saw a deficiency in the science about what was going on. And the whole thing about the Soil Health Institute was to fill that scientific gap. And I'll be honest with you, I was a skeptic at first serving on the board on this. And first time Dr. Schaefer and Dr. Honeycutt were talking to me about this, and I was like, we're going to talk about what I'm doing on my farm or my ranch in South Dakota, how it's going to impact the nutrient quality of the corn, soybeans, or wheat I produce, and what it means to the humans that consume the cows, that consume the corn and the soybeans. They're in no connection. I don't want to do this. Well, that was my first reaction. Then I thought about it a while, and I thought about my mineral program for my cow herd. And I thought about how, in fact, I knew that during drought years, my protein levels in my grass were higher, and I would have a hard grass gain as opposed to a soft grass gain. And I realized, well, if what I know applies to my red Angus cows, then it must apply to humans as well. And so I came to this meeting today with a little different attitude on that, and I want to say thank you to you guys for stretching me. And I'm hoping we have stretched all of you in doing this, because we're having a conversation here that has been needed to occur for a long time. Now, I'm in a lot of soil health meetings every month, and almost never, when we're talking about soil health in the farm community, are we talking about toxicity or lead or heavy metals or any of those things. It is, how do we feed the microflora and microfauna that are out there in the soils so that they do better, so that that soil produces more corn, soybeans, wheat, cattle. That's pretty much our monofocus. Now, for those of you that don't come from our background, give you an idea of how important this is. And I stole this, why can I not say his name? Jerry Hatfield, thank you. You've heard my speeches so many times. Stole this one from Jerry Hatfield. Give you an idea of the number of microflora and microfauna on an acre of land in Iowa is the stocking rate of 2 elephants per acre. That's how many bugs, protozoa, fungi, whatever are out there. And we got to feed them. And for us, that is what soil health is all about, is how do we take care of the pachyderms? And it is really an illuminating thing for many of us that have been involved in soil health. So, soil health policy passed. Well, first off, when soil health policy in the past was born, it wasn't soil health. It was soil conservation. It was born of the Dust Bowl, and it was all recovery and restoration. And so much of that then was education. How to tell that story to a farmer to be able to do that. Then how do you back it up with the research? And what did you do to fill that? And that's where many of our commercial nutrients came in. And it was always production oriented. And what did we use inside of the soil movement to really base that off of? It was off of the soil survey and maps. What today is now modernized and on the web used to be a 1-inch bound volume that almost every farmer and rancher had that showed the soils for their land, their neighbor's land, and everybody in the county. And for ranchers like myself, we buy land based off of the productivity indicated from that Sergo map. I'll pass up on land because it doesn't have good quality. I'll buy other land ruthlessly because it has high quality. That is the soil health policy of the past, but it's all been based off of soil conservation. My old agency, Natural Resources Conservation Service, you know why they named it NRCS? Because it was too focused on soil conservation. It used to be called the Soil Conservation Service, SCS, and was renamed in order to give it that broader perspective. That gives us soil health policy of the present. We're still doing production, but arguably a lot less in many ways. In some ways, we're seeing that occurring in the private sector. We're also seeing on the policy side a whole lot of emphasis on tools. This is driven first by the need to have accountability for the federal tax investment that's out there, the taxpayer dollars that's there. And so that's measurement, decision application. But then in the private sector, the policy that's coming about here is about precision support, precision decision making, precision conservation, precision application. All the soil health policy of present is also voluntary, largely in USDA. What NRCS implements, cost share programs, EQIP, CSP, land idling, the Conservation Reserve Program. Each of these are voluntary, and it's about how does a federal agency act in a very localized manner alongside an individual farmer. And then the next level of that were linkages to farm programs. That got a little quasi-regulatory. That came about in the '85 Farm Bill, and that was the linkage between swamp buster and sod buster. Highly erodible land, if it's farmed, had to have a conservation plan in order to be able to receive farm program benefits. But that, by congressional mandate, was as far as they were going to go. And so it's still the primary emphasis goes back to those voluntary linkages. And then the last aspect is research. But as I look at soil health at present, and I don't mean to offend anyone, and I don't mean to say that soil health research at USDA is diminished, but rather that the visibility of it is diminished. We have brilliance occurring at NIFA, and we have brilliance occurring at ARS, but what may be lacking is an overarching policy that says, where do you want to go? If I pry open the directory at NIFA, I don't think I can find a soil quality program director at NIFA. And if I can't find a soil quality program director, because every program director gets a budget, and every program director then gets a program to implement, then you don't have a soil health program to tackle. You got a lot of folks interested in it, a lot of folks advocating for it, but you don't have that direct responsibility. So, soil health policy of the future. And notice I'm talking small p, not large p. Large p is what we've been talking about on the regulatory side. Small p is really what's occurring more and more in the marketplace. Okay, voluntary programs, I see them continuing in the future. I also see that they cannot, will not, and in no way meet the demand. I had $3 billion a year of conservation kindness I could put on the ground when I was chief of NRCS. I could not meet the demand with $3 billion. I was turning away 3 out of every 4 contracts that were offered because of the volume of demand that's out there. So we need another way. Soil health provides us the other way if we can figure out the policy to do that. Production tools. Here is one of the biggest soil health wishes I've got, and I see it as a policy side of it. We need soil health tests that are rapid, cheap, and reliable. They need to work as well as our chemical tests do today in a same way that is rapid, repeatable, viable for commercial operations. Linkages to food. I heard a lot of this yesterday, but we're going to have more of this in the future, and we need science about this. What exactly are the linkages to food, and can you make a claim based off of that? Should you make a claim based off of that? That is a policy debate that needs to occur. Sustainability. Every CPG, every food and beverage company that I look to, talk to, interact with, has got a sustainability plan and matrix. They are begging for the way to do it in soil health as well, and it's missing. And it's largely missing because we don't know how to model it, we don't have a tool to measure it, we don't have a tool to bring it all together. The opportunity, I think, lies with ecosystem markets in being able to actually, for the first time, monetize soil health so that there is a return to the farmer and rancher based off of that. That's the real challenge that's out there. The research needs to be made to be able to monetize that and bring that together, because the most important thing is we have to show the economics of soil health. It has to be not just the productivity side of it for the farmer or rancher, but also the societal benefits of that, which could conceivably come about with the soil health. So, soil health in the future is going to be driven by the marketplace more than the regulatory regime. Research policy needs are significant. I have everybody talking about their research dollars, but if you want big bucks, no whammies, as they used to say, it follows a policy priority. We have to have policymakers deciding that that is a priority, and soil health policy of the future is going to be collaborative, not regulatory. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Susan.